Thank you, Internet, for making this so easy, man. I mean, this is too easy. Excuse me. I gotta take a sip before I start. That's Kool-Aid, by the way. um, this is just too easy. It's so obvious, and it's too easy for to put the puzzle together with this mass shooting in Fort Lauderdale, which is about a half an hour away from my house. I frequently take Fort Lauderdale Airport all the time. And there was a mass shooting. You guys already heard about it this past Friday, yesterday. And the suspect is alive. He's classified as white Hispanic. And the mainstream media, the white-owned mainstream media, automatically is linking this guy as a person with mental illness because he was in the military, right? So you can link this to the latest. You can link this to the recent mass shootings from last year of two dead black suspects, Gavin E, right, and Micah Johnson. What's the common denominator, family? Well, if you don't know, it should be quite obvious, right? So before I start on that commentary, family, once again, if you are new to this channel, my name is Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist. On this channel, I talk about counter-racism. I also talk about issues that affect black people collectively as a group, and I offer my suggestions on how to replace this broken system of injustice, this broken system of racism, which is white supremacy, with a system of justice. So if you are new and you agree with that ideology, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. If you don't agree, subscribe anyway. You can just live out your fantasies in 2017 by hate watching and trolling and leaving dumbass comments, which will most likely be deleted. If I find them funny, I'll keep them on my page, but whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, if you're one of those trolls and hate watchers, you're just a statistic at the end of the day in a view count. So it is what it is, family. Anyway, so let's get back to the topic. So, the latest big news story, mass shooting from a suspect named Esteban Santiago-Ruiz. And this website, heavy.com, they like to do, so-called fact-finding of the latest news, of the latest, big news headliners that come across. And they always do these fact-finding checks, right? These top 5 facts or top 10 facts, stuff like that. So I checked them out, get the information. And, when I read this particular article, I was like, you know what? This sounds grossly familiar from the mass shootings from last year, right? You had Micah Johnson, who did the mass shooting last year in Dallas, right? And right after that, you had Gavin E, who also did a mass shooting, right? And so the story behind those two, if you guys don't know, those two mass shootings were reactions based off of social injustices and police brutality against black people, right? Micah Johnson, labeled as a pro-black, as well as Gavin E, labeled as a pro-black. And we know, according to the dominant white society mainstream media, pro-black means you're a racist and you're a hate group, right? And you guys, you have websites like the Southern Poverty Law Center that will label people like a Micah Johnson and a Gavin E, and even myself, someone who preaches hate, which of course, that is not my ideology whatsoever, okay? But yeah, so basically those mass shootings, and again, I've talked about the story before from my videos last year. The victims of the shootings, my condolences go out to the families. I don't condone violence against police officers by shooting and killing them. I don't condone that, and I definitely don't condone police brutality against black people whatsoever. suspected race soldiers, doing what they do best by mistreating, dominating and executing black people who are most likely unarmed, and sometimes you'll find them with no criminal record, etc. Right? So, like I said, the mass shooting of Micah Johnson and Gavin Long were reactions from social injustices and police brutality against black people, okay, in this country. Now, this latest mass shooting that happened in Fort Lauderdale, okay, they say that 5 victims were dead, 15 were wounded. They're still doing press conferences and investigations and stuff like that. Let's start with the one common denominator, family. All right? Let's start with the one common denominator. All right? Well, you can say, this is something I want to point out. How about that? This is something I want to point out. Okay? This guy, Esteban Santiago, shot and killed 5 people, wounded 15 people. He was brought into custody alive. Okay? Brought into custody alive. So he's still breathing, just like Dylan Roof. Okay? Of course, Micah Johnson, right? This guy here. And Gavin Long, okay, who still got YouTube videos up right now. Gavin Long, okay, both dead. Both these guys are dead, okay? They're both dead. This guy's alive. All right. That's the first thing I want to point out. What's the other thing, family? This guy is classified as white Hispanic, right? Now, people want to talk about, well, Hispanic is not a race, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's exactly what is on the census, the U.S. Census Bureau, okay? They specifically say white Hispanic. You look at his arrest record online, it says white Hispanic. So he's classified as white Hispanic. Obviously, these 2 guys are dead and they're classified as black or African American. Okay? Second thing, right? That's the second thing I want to point out. All right? Both these guys are dead. This guy's alive. One guy's classified as white Hispanic. The other 2 are classified as black or African American. What's the other common denominator? They all served in the military. This guy was in the military, as you can see. Micah Johnson shows a photo of him in the military right here. And Gavin Long was in the military. I don't think there was a photo of him, but there's videos of him talking about he was in the military. He was talking about it. There's YouTube videos and obviously his documentation and all that stuff saying that he served in the military. And I think he had like a really a good ranking too in the military. All right. What's the other common denominator, or something I want to point out rather? What's the other thing that I would like to point out? So when you read these stories I'm just going with one particular source, heavy.com, a white-owned mainstream media publication online, okay? When you read these so-called 5 facts, okay, Esteban Santiago served in the military, and according to what they say from the reports on heavy.com, the word mental health and mental illness is referenced several times after his tour, if you will, fighting in Afghanistan and I believe Iraq. Yeah, Iraq. Okay. This guy says he wants to fight for ISIS, et cetera, right? But the key factor is mental health and mental illness was referenced several times in this article. And of course, all the mainstream media publications are referencing this guy classified as white Hispanic with mental health or mental illness, as, he was mentally unstable with killing these people. But when Micah Johnson, who served in the military also, and also served in Iraq, okay, No, nothing was mentioned about mental health or mental illness. All right. Same thing with Gavin Long. He served in the military. Nothing is mentioned about mental health or mental illness, family. All right. Keep that in mind. Nothing is referenced to these guys. So what does that tell you, family? Business as usual for the dominant white society. All right. The protection, right? The protection of your complexion. Protect their own. All right. Cop and pleas about this guy shooting shooting and killing 5 people at the Fort Lauderdale airport in the baggage claim area. And immediately they put he had mental health issues. He was hearing voices, etc., etc. This guy, black, shot and killed people, police officers, served in the military, same exact area in Iraq as Esteban Santiago. No references of mental health or mental health issues, etc., mentioned at all whatsoever. And the same thing with Gavin Long. All right. I just want to emphasize those things, family. You got to watch for the trick bag when it comes to the mainstream white media. All right. This is too easy, family. This is too easy. Connect the dots and put the pieces together like, damn. You know, they want to make sure that we demonize these black folks as terrorists and thugs. Right. They're mass shooters, right? They're dead, though. They served in the military, right? They should have post-traumatic stress disorder, according to the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. You see that? PTSD, National Center for PTSD. Mental health effects for serving in Afghanistan and Iraq. All right? And you go through a psych eval after you're discharged. Those are on record, right? Those are on record. But nothing was mentioned about a psych eval, a psychological evaluation for Gavin Long or Micah Johnson. But it was mentioned so many times with Esteban Santiago that automatically you feel sorry for this guy. And he's still alive, still breathing. Right, family? So watch for the hook. You know, watch for the hook. You just got to put the pieces together, family, and see it for what it is. You know, I just try to provide you guys a balanced point of view from a perspective of a black man. All right. I talk about things that are reflected to black society, and I look at things on a whole. And this is too obvious. You know, this is too obvious. The guy's alive. He shot and killed multiple people. He's a mass shooter. Served in the military, okay, and is automatically deemed a guy with mental health issues. Versus Micah Johnson, a mass shooter, classified as black, serves in the military, nothing mentioned about mental health issues. Gavin Long, classified as black, a mass shooter, served in the military, nothing mentioned of mental health issues. All right, family. So that's what I wanted to talk about, family. This is too damn obvious. It's too obvious. So leave your comments down below, family. Let me know what you guys think about the story with Esteban Santiago. You know, he's still alive, obviously, and he's in custody. He's going to be charged. But you see the imbalance there, right? With mainstream media controlled by the dominant white society. You see the imbalance. A huge disparity. That's why independent black media, and don't get it twisted. Independent black media, there's really no such thing as that, but independent black media is just free thought. That's what it is. So support independent black media. When I say a true independent black media conglomerate, I'm talking about an entity that's not using the dominant white society's resources. resources like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. If we're using their servers, we're using their resources. Okay? So we got to get off using their damn resources and build our own infrastructure. Okay? You guys know I'm in the IT industry, so we need software engineers, developers, we need architects, we need solutions architects like myself to formulate a plan to create a website that is similar to YouTube, a video sharing website that is Black owned, that has infrastructure built from the ground up by Black people for Black people. All right? For everybody, actually, but owned and controlled by Black people. How about that? All right? That's what we need. All right? So anyway, family, leave your thoughts down below about these stories. All right? It's just too obvious, family. Let me know what you guys think about the contrast I brought up, and any information that you feel I left out. Leave it down below, family. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, the next video, this is Chauncey, aka the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.